Hey Hannah Mouse One here. Scratch. Scratch is a drag and drop coding language aimed at children to allow them to make games and animations. Scratch Junior then is aimed at even younger children, 5 to 7-year-olds apparently, and from what I've heard it's absolutely pathetic. But people say the same thing about Scratch proper, and I've made it my mission to make extremely polished games using that, so I've decided to put this kids toy coding platform through its paces. I started by opening up the program and just messing around a bit, figuring out how to add sprites, how to edit costumes, how to make the characters move, and through all of this I was trying to think of a game that I could make with this very limited tool set. It couldn't be a game that involves randomness or complex movement, it had to be really simple. So I settled on the no Wi-Fi dinosaur game, you know, the one when Google can't connect so it gives you a mini game with a dinosaur instead. All that game involved is a simple character that has simple movement, jumping over cacti. This I can do. I started by creating a background, a desert with sand drifts and a blazing sun. The sprite creator is such a pain to use. It feels so counterintuitive when it does or doesn't group items, which items appear above others. It makes things like shading nigh on impossible. And ideally I would have made the background scroll to match the player's movements, but beggars can't be choosers, and if you're using Scratch Junior, you'd be begging. This background featured a surface for the dinosaur to run on so it didn't look like it was floating, and I also made the player character. Again, I had to wrestle with the sprite editor, but I was able to create a super simple character that satisfied my purposes. As far as I could tell, there isn't an easy way to animate in Scratch Junior. Like, there doesn't seem to be a costume system like Scratch proper has, so I guess our character's going to be pretty static. But Scratch Junior does have a handy hop block that made it really easy to make the dino jump when tapped. I then needed to make the obstacles for the dinosaur to jump over, starting with a small cactus. It took me a while to figure out the movement for this thing, but I was able to eventually get it to move from one side of the screen to the other on a loop. I replicated this process with a larger cactus and a bird that's designed to prevent the player from jumping at certain times. Unfortunately, the lack of randomness in Scratch means that these spawn on a loop rather than in a random order, but it serves its purpose and it's the best I'm going to be able to do. I then made a basic game over screen that you go to when you hit one of the obstacles, and I added a replay button to let you try again. This was surprisingly intuitive to do because of Scratch Junior's scene system. In regular Scratch, to do this, I would have had to have all the shown sprites hide and stop their scripts and delete any clones, etc. But in Scratch Junior, I just had to swap to another screen and hey presto, everything unwanted went away. It's quite nice actually. And I do kind of like the text feature in Scratch Junior. If you're familiar with my usual content, you'll probably know that I typically handwrite in my letters to make sure my fonts match my game's art style, but there was no way I was going through that hassle with this sprite editor, and the default font here is actually quite nice, and it's really easy to add in. I thought I'd just throw in these good points so I haven't been completely ragging on the platform for the entire video. So that was my first dalliance into Scratch Junior, and it was as harrowing an experience as I expected. But apart from that, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Like, subscribe if you did. It lets me know that this is something you'd like to see more of. Join the Discord link down below, and I'll see you next week with another video. Bye!